So as we sit in our homes, in our spaces, in our amazing female bodies, representative of every nodule on the network of the time travelers, we enliven the entire network, the power and the focus and the wisdom within those who travel. And as always, our intention is to do in this moment, we call moment, that which is most powerful and effective in removing all outsider presence, influence, attachments. And we call to us those beings in spirit, including the PTOs, the healings, the healing team, that stream of all potential love, heart-filled energy, who can feed, guide, and move us for that end result. Calling in all sounds, intelligences, to shake the web in order for that to be true. We affirm that the declaration that the outsider agenda landscape be disconnected, severed from all of divine family energies and structures is absolute. That their energy as one entire landscape or world or reality drop into that minus fourth world in mass. And whatever it is that's most important for Emma and I to speak to for that end result to happen, that is the focus of our journey this morning. So we are here committed with teams who are committed. We are grateful for your guidance, for your insight, and entire plan that is in effect and moving forward. So Emma and I put ourselves into the hands of our team of wisdom, guidance, knowingness, healing, and disconnect from the agendas of outsiders. We are with you. Guide us, whatever world, reality, dimension, lifetime we need to travel within to make this decree absolute and effective. We ask. So journey safely. When you're complete, I'll meet you back here in the circle. Blessings. Let me turn the recording.
Okay. So normally the place that I gather with my team is a cave, but this time they were like checking out the apartment. And so a being of light holds their hand out to me, and we walk together hand in hand up a path of light into the time stream. It's light, it's all light, it's only light. We are standing still and the stream moves around us and stops, and we drop gently from the light onto the earth. I look around and we are in a medieval town. I am dressed as a woman of that time, not noble and not serf. I'm the widow of a craftsman who has carried on his business after his death. While there is a male supervisor, they all look to me for direction in our craft. We are weavers and shapers. The business flourishes and brings some fame to our town. We are all respected. I have been a widow for almost 10 years now. Men have offered marriage and I have seen no reason to accept them. I am powerful in my small realm and I am respected by the people in my life. Marriage would limit me. My light guide and I are walking through the town after visiting the market. I have 2 young people with me carrying the baskets. They are apprentices. As we walk up the street to my home, we see smoke and hear yelling. It's on fire. People are scrambling to contain it, not simply to save our home, but to save the town from the rapid spread of fire. I notice a man lurking nearby with a sly, hateful smile. I know he tips his hat to me and walks away. I have never seen him before, and I know that he is the one who set the fire. I can see the future unroll, accusations of witchcraft. Certain men have been influenced to crave my business, my money, and my property. I freeze frame. I follow the thread in time and space to the outsiders. They are centered in Brussels. They are sending out agents to cities and large towns around Europe and Great Britain to attack the women who are in business owners and, have their own freedom and power. I freeze frame and call in the PTO, Galactic Council, etc. I ask the PTO to gather in all that is associated with this grouping. Instead of unravel, it ravels in. They are sent back to their home of origin. I ask the tag team to heal the threads that were sewn in all the cities and town. My light being and I walk back to the town. The fire has been put out quickly. The man who set the fire is captured and branded and sent out of the town. My business is restored and all is well. This is a past life, not a lineage. I am complete. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. So as we talked about, again, declaring the drop of the landscape of the outsiders, the entire world, the entire reality that is built from outsider agenda to be severed connection-wise so that it can be moved into the -4th world. What is it that is needed? So what they said, first of all, is the experience that I've just gone through with getting clear and making a stand within that which is allowed within women's circles and women's groups, etc. They said that it's extremely purposeful to use that energy to as courting to go into those groups with the authority voice that says anything that is tainting, manipulating, that is outsider driven is to be identified and disconnected from within women groups themselves. And so that was one of the purposes for the whole thing that I went through for the last 2 or 3 days. And they said then place that entire network, the women group in women groups around the world, into that guardian circle, absolute disconnecting of outsider attachments, the stream that gave us permission to go into those groups, a person into those groups. They are holding, they said they are holding a truth which is free women, free across the board, but definitely free women, but free across the board. So they're holding the truth of that while disconnecting the deceit and subroof, whatever fuse around that, so that they have permission to do that, and placing them in guardian circles, activating the PTO intensely with the divine good as the outcome for those circles. So then they said, and they will use that group, those groups, women's groups, as a surrogate for other groups, organizations, and structures within the landscape of the outsiders. And I was to hold that decree as in I could see them. It was like beings flying, finding and cutting and removing and disconnecting cords. It was like watching And they said that there's a new group that's beyond the PTO but works with the PTO, and this group is specifically coming from another galactic family who've never been contaminated, who are now coming in with specific instructions to disconnect or clean up, to do that particular part of the removal, as the parasitic guardian circles continue to move out massively, and that they are forming a communication channel between us here in our physical bodysuits, because we're like the front runners who say there's a problem, and they are the front runners and say we'll find where the problem is. So there's a different connection, a different part of the team. And I said, can we bring in more of those? Can we bring in legions of those? It's like they were, yeah. And they said, absolutely. And so the reality shift that I made was all that is needed to cause major shift in manifestations of the outsiders' landscape, the dropping of moving them out of our world within the time of this circle today and the next time travel circle. There should be a major shift that we can discern on the ground. I want to see some really major shift for that. They said that's what they would take as their assignment. I said, what would you suggest we do because it seems to me that more and more people are getting caught up in the craziness, in the like, oh my gosh, look at this. Oh my gosh, here they are. Oh my gosh. And getting caught up in speaking about it and interacting with it, not knowing, they don't know even to ask for the PTOs. They don't even know to do the guardian circle. So they're getting caught up in sharing the word. Oh, it's over here. See, they're doing this. And I said, so what would you recommend? And they said, when you see crazy, call in the legions. When you see crazy, call in the legions, the PTO legions, these cleanup crew legions. So just remember to call. You see craziness, don't have to say anything to anybody, call in the legions. So that's what I got. So Kelly, I'm going to unmute you. I'm sure you can do that yourself, but I'll do it here. I did, and now your space, Kella.
Oh,
I think I said
thank
Kella,
you.
but no, it's Kella.
I'm sorry I called late. I had the time written as 12, and it must have been 11:30.
No, it's the 11. So on
Oh,
Friday.
I'm way off. Oh gosh. Okay. So I apologize. I had the wrong time down. Well, I'm glad to hear that is a good solution as far as the crazy out there, because I have not gone anywhere unless I absolutely have to because of the crazy. I just cannot subject myself to it. I think I'm just far too sensitive at this time. So I'm really glad to hear that information.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, that will be helpful. So although I have to think of another term other than legion, because I don't relate to that term well, so I could just do the PTO. But
yeah. There are
yeah.
multiples. All you need to know is it's multiple teams, massive amounts, whatever you relate. Just huge.
So, yeah, and so will they come in and kind of clear that, or recognize it, or what specifically are they doing as we call in for help?
They're identifying energy, the vibrational energy coming from outsiders' agendas, which are all about domination. They're identifying the vibration, because it doesn't even have to be formed. It can be formed, but it doesn't have to be formed. So it could be a thought,
Okay.
it could be a broadcasting, it could be a courting, it could be a contract. Any vibration that is outsider agenda created is identified by that group and neutralized by that group. Then all the tentacles brought into us it all brought together. It's like the octopus bringing it all back together into the body of a seed, and then removing the entire seed back to its own home, its home of beginning,
Yeah.
which is out of our galaxy, and it is
Right. Cool.
sealed
Yeah.
there. So that's what they are doing, and now what they're doing
That's
is massively, massively.
good. Okay, great. That really helps clarify it for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good, thank you, Cal, for the question. Okay, so Emma, I see you have a question.
2 questions. One is, would you consider this part of the whole Deep Six thing?
Because we determine what's part of the Deep Six thing,
Mm-hmm.
they're saying absolutely that,
Okay.
if we want to include that whole thing, so instead of
Right.
saying not acceptable, we could just say Deep Six.
Okay. Yeah.
That would activate the entire protocol. Because
Excellent.
what we are set, what this is a protocol with a specific outcome. And so whatever we're giving our spiritual teams permission to do what they need to do, and they know exactly what to do in order for that outcome, which is
Right.
no outsider energy in any form, in any dimension in which divine family live. And that's why they're moving the entire, like that whole world or reality
Mm-hmm.
or landscape that's been created by the outsiders, is the entire landscape is being moved into the -4th world.
Mm-hmm.
That buffer of
Right.
ley lines set in place between their worlds and the divine family's worlds, of which our earth is the densest, or the last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
Deep Six also, if I'm remembering correctly, that also includes the tag
yes, it includes,
protocols as well.
yeah,
Okay.
the tag healings, it includes the guardian circles. It
Okay.
includes, yeah, all of the energy of expanding energy of our bringing in our energy of light and expanding it without,
Okay.
in a secured way. Yeah, it has all of that in it. So Deep Six, thanks for that. And it is so because we've declared that's what it is to
Right.
activate.
So
Sure.
the other question.
Yeah.
So when you see the crazy calling the legions,
You could say,
when you're saying the crazy, like I could look at, the videos that are going around about, what's going on in Portland, and I can say, okay, I see this. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. I'm just going to, say Deep Six this
yeah,
situation.
that's true. That is true. That's a better way.
Okay. And I could also do it like just sort of like when I'm in a situation where there's just an individual who's being a little nutty. I
That's
can also just Deep Six that.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just taking a very complex set of decrees
Yeah.
and having to go down the list. This. We're just putting them all together into a protocol that's
Mm-hmm.
all expanding as need be, because the outcome is what is our goal, and the outcome is total zero outsider energies in any form is our outcome goal. And this is the protocol that we
Mm-hmm.
activate, that the spiritual worlds are brought in to help us accomplish that.
So when we began our conversation, we talked about like here we are, and the outsiders have been dominating us, and
Here on
we're
the
saying,
planet.
okay, we're doing this shift so that the dominator energy drops down into their own natural energetic frequency, at which, now that they're not on top of us anymore, we begin to rise into our own natural energetic frequency. But
Yeah,
what's happening is that
let me stop.
right.
Let me
Go
stop.
ahead.
So, Calla, what Emma is doing, because you can't see it, is her hands are initially one on top of the other, because the dominating energy has been on top of us, pushing us down intentionally. And what we are calling for is that domination energy to be disconnected, drop below us, so that it can now be moved even farther vibrationally down the spiral into that minus world. So her hands now are apart with maybe 3 inches between. And now that as a divine family, we then, free of that domination intention to control, can begin lifting into our own wholeness, which is higher and higher vibrations. Okay, go ahead. You might want to add words to it.
So here we are, and this separation is occurring.
Yes.
But what's happened is that we're noticing where all the hooks are, so that there are hooks from even though the dominator energy is sinking, they still have hooks in our energy frequency. And what we're working on is disconnecting all those hooks, so that at some point, sooner rather than later, there is no connection between the parasitic energies and our energies.
That's correct. Yeah. And that was begun last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And we did more on it on Tuesday and on Monday at night and Tuesday. And so what we're doing is making sure we're continuing to do cleanup of those kind of hooks, because a lot of them have been disconnected, but not all of them. We're not assuming till we're told, okay, all the hooks are gone, that you can now move on to another part of the work.
Okay, so just to sort of thinking ahead into other parts of the work, a lot of what you've been teaching has to do with, okay, we've kind of got these, we've got these two avenues of healing. One avenue of healing is disconnecting from parasitic influences, blah, blah, blah. The other is healing our own shit.
Correct.
And so we're still going to be left with healing our own shit.
Right.
And that's going to be, but it won't be intensified or dragged backwards by parasitics.
That's correct. Well,
okay.
And that's that place of sovereignty that we have been speaking of for a long, long time, is that sovereignty means we are free of parasitic influences. Within sovereignty, then we are really more free to heal our own energies, to stay in clarity and in balance. And also, a phase, like something to think about, Kala, is that this is the perfect time not only to you don't have to be out in the craziness, absolutely not, but in your quiet place, you can also, it's a very powerful time for all of us to imagine and design what the world of peace looks like, what the world of thriving looks like. We're designing and laying foundations into a very different energy field. So that's also something that would be very powerful for this time. Okay, another really honored and fun to be together with you guys. Sorry you had the wrong time, Kala, but you got here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Darn it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, lots of love. We'll see when we see you again.
Yes.
All
Bye.
right. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Love you.
Bye.